Good morning, everybody. Is it possible, what I wanted to ask is it possible, as many have said, that the election of Trump was a miracle because everybody had Clinton winning that race ahead of the election? So Clinton blows it, Trump wins, people are like, drain the swamp, this is enough. So people know there's a problem, they just don't know how to fix it. And Trump has been, I mean, he's a bull in a china shop, I'll give it that. And none of us know what the real agenda is. We don't know if he's good, if he's bad. You hear both sides, right? You let a person's actions dictate what their intentions really are. Anybody can say words. You know, if they say, oh baby, I love you, there's nobody else but you, and then they're out with 4 other girls, well, I guess that will tell you what you need to know. But let's just assume for 1 minute that Trump actually is mostly good. He's facing resistance from the mainstream media, from the intelligence agencies, from the people who are in power, because they do not want things to change. Why would they? They are getting richer and everybody else is being sucked dry. The future of anybody young or unborn, well, there is no future. Hate to break it to you. Not a good future. Your parents and grandparents, well, it was pretty much guaranteed that their lives would be as good or better than what their parents had. That no longer is true. So let's say when, the economy has not been good for a while. It's been artificially supported for 15, 20 years. So they finally, you remember what was happening last year when a lot of these people opposing Trump were coming out saying, we have to do whatever it takes to make sure he's not elected again. Well, why are they so scared of him? We've had quote-unquote bad presidents before. Did you see them making this push against Bush or Obama or Clinton? Not like this. So is it possible that they made the decision that since Trump was going to get reelected and their power was potentially going to be threatened, let's just bring it down. Let's just shut it down. We'll take control this way. We'll make them hate Trump so badly that they're going to be clamoring for whatever we'll give them. And that's just something to think about going forward, is all these governments lie to us. Although the truth right now would probably surprise a lot of people if they actually look back and knew what the true history of the United States was. It's not the rah-rah, we're always the good guy narrative. With Trump's shift, now he's wearing a mask, and some of his rhetoric seems to be 180 degrees. So is he coerced? Anybody see the movie Dave? It's Kevin Kline, and the president has a stroke, and they use his body double to keep his administration going, so they do not invoke the section of the Constitution which requires the vice president to take charge, because those who are in control want to maintain control. So they bring in somebody to replace the dead president. And they make it into a feel-good movie, but it's a sinister message. Is it possible? Absolutely it's possible. How many of us actually have our thumb on the pulse of what the CIA, NSA, all those lobbyists, and the people behind the scenes, in addition to them, right? I hope by now that even those people who have their head in the sand, who are too scared to face reality, will pull their head up and look around and prepare for what's coming. Only you can prepare for what's coming. But you do not want to take what they're going to give you, because you are not going to like what your only option is. And that's what's going on right now. If you don't notice, everything is becoming Google, Amazon, Apple, and whoever runs those. And at some point, you go to the supermarkets now in some states, they don't even let you in to buy food unless you wear a mask. So it's already there. Try walking into those places without a mask. Some of them won't do anything, but some of them will call the cops or have the security people escort you out. They've already admitted that a mask does nothing to prevent the spread of this virus, number one. Number two, social distancing. Why 6 feet? Why not 8 feet? Why not 3 feet? There's a very specific reason as to why they pick 6 feet. And why they have you wear a mask. If I came up to talk to you and I didn't have a mask on, we'd have a normal interaction, normal conversation. I come up to you with a mask and you're like, uh-oh, I can't talk to this person. This person is sick or something's wrong with this person. It's not a real comfortable, unless you're a medical professional who's around that all day. Most of us are like, okay. The social distancing. Yeah, it trains you to respond to orders that make no sense. They don't want you questioning them. They just want you to do what they tell you. We know best. Wrong answer. The technology that they have today for tracking, if they put a chip in your arm, or they put a bug on you, or if they try to monitor you from the air or the space, the resolution, and I'll try to show this in a video to demonstrate this. If we stand too close together, if objects are too close together, it starts to look like one object. So it decreases the ability to track and to determine what the threat level is. They have very, very specific reasons. And again, I did a video on Smedley Butler. And Smedley Butler was the most decorated Marine in U.S. history at the time. And he was sent around the world to kill people who stood up to U.S. corporations, mostly in the Caribbean, Latin America, Mexico, China as well. And he finally said, I don't want to do this anymore. I'm not somebody's hatchet man. And that's why all these people coming back from the Middle East are killing themselves. You put a combination of mind-altering drugs into people, and you have that type of guilt and dismay, realizing that you spent all that energy and years believing one truth, and you realize that it's not the truth. What we need to start preparing for mentally right now is we're going to have very limited choices in probably very short order. What that means in time frame, I don't know. But I can tell you China is still impacted. I had one good friend, I checked in on them to see how they're doing, and she said to me, "Are we going to war with the USA?" I said, "I hope not. Why are you saying this?" And she said, "Well, we're being told that the United States is already preparing to attack us." So that's what they're disseminating in China. Get ready. Prepare. That usually means you probably don't want to be an American in China right now, because when they hate something, they take it out. The government will organize these masses, and long story short, I mean, China's a wonderful country in many ways, but if you were ever in a scenario, and this is true in many parts of the world, but it's especially true in China, something happens, the rule of law is mob rule. And what they'll do with technology is, I've seen it, and I've had it happen to me, is one guy will get on their cell phone and text whoever they're texting, their friends, the government, who knows, saying, "Hey, we have this foreigner here, we need help." And within 20 minutes, if you stay there, you will find out they put a call on social media or some platform, and people start showing up. And while they may not be brave one-on-one, when it gets to be 10, 20, 30 to 1, you will lose. So in those situations, you have to boogie. I boogie. I don't sit around there debating these people or figuring out. Yeah, there's one time this guy, I was in the middle of nowhere at a train station. Well, I'll tell that story another day, but I ran. I got the hell out of there as fast as my legs would carry with my bag on my back. But I digressed. We are going to be faced, you can see it now. Stores are already refusing to let you in if you don't wear a mask. So when people tell you the mark of the beast will never come, that would never be allowed. It's being allowed right now. Oh, what's the big deal? Just wear a mask. You fool. You are a fool. Wake up. Why not just walk in backwards and put a plastic bottle over your head? How's that? Would that make you look like a fool? Over in Germany, this bar restaurant owner, he thought it was so absurd. You know those string toys you put in the pool with kids that are flotation devices? He put 4 of them on hats, on basically 90-degree angles. And what that did is that forced you to maintain a social distance. But the real reason he was doing it is he wanted you to feel like such an idiot that you started saying, "Why are we doing this? Why do I have to wear this ridiculous hat? Why do I have to wear this ridiculous mask?" Just like the shutdown in some states, more people have died of suicide than they have from this virus. But you have to shut down. Probably more people are getting sick wearing a mask than are being helped by it. But what's required is we have to have a peaceful demonstration where just a mass of humanity is able to shut things down. So 10 million people descend upon Washington, D.C. They'll notice that. Germany has 85 million people. They were able to get 1.3 million people from the country in Berlin. My buddy drove 9 hours to get there, one way. Not sure how many people in this country would do that. I'm sure they'd find an excuse not to. And that's the conclusion that me and Dan came to after talking with my buddy, is it's going to take intense pain for people in this country to wake up and to realize that they have to do something. You still don't believe it, do you? because everything's fine. We're told it's a recovery, it's a V recovery. Stock market saw all-time records. But you don't notice the small signs. Still 50 million people unemployed. Still hard to find certain things at supermarkets. Supermarkets and other places still require that you follow their mandate to go in, right? For those of you who don't know Ernest Hemingway or have not read The Sun Also Rises, it's a great quote, and I'll put it into the video. And I'll paraphrase it because I'll probably get the exact wording wrong. But what he said was, there was a discussion between two guys, and one guy asked the other, how did you go bankrupt? And the other guy goes, at first gradually, and then all at once. And that's what we're witnessing. We are witnessing history, and unfortunately it's not history that we're going to be proud of, because we are complicit. The citizens of the United States of America have allowed all of this to happen. And not knowing, not being aware is not an excuse. You collected the benefits. You sat on the couch and you did nothing. While our government and the people who control our government and the foreign powers who control our banks and our government, they have taken us apart piece by piece. And we're all to blame. And now we all get to pay the price. For those who understand this, for those who see this, okay, if you were on the Titanic or in the World Trade Center and they're telling you everything's fine, go back to your cabin, go back to your desk. And there are lots of people who are like, okay, they're telling us everything's fine, go back to sleep, go back. They're dead. Deservedly so, maybe. But those who said, no, I'm my own being, I know the truth. You are not a god. You are not a king. I will not listen to you. You are a liar. As I said before, you judge by their actions, not their words. And their actions are lie after lie after lie. So that's it, folks. That's it. So those folks who got to the lifeboat on the Titanic, they survived. And they watched that ship sink. And those lifeboats, what were they? Lifeboat could handle 10 or 20 people, and it had what, 3 or 4? In an emergency, you probably could have put more people in there. But nobody even knew to run for the boats. And in fact, I don't know if this is true, but in the movie, if you remember, the lower classes, they locked them down below. They said, go back down to the bottom. You know, the 4th, 5th class was down at the very bottom of the boat near the engines. And they just locked them in to die, to drown. Imagine that. You're in your bed, you see this wave of water coming in, and you're like, I'm on a boat, is that normal? Should water be coming in? And boy, is it cold. Yep, what a way to go. Lock down below, and you take that one final breath. Imagine that. You manage just to squeak out one more breath. And then the horror of the next 30 seconds, or however long somebody can hold their breath. People, that's what's going on, man. Yeah, there are plenty of people who are doing better financially right now because they're getting free money. Well, guess what? The government just stopped that. And how long do you think they're going to really continue that for? And the only reason they did that is because They didn't want mass riots. Mission accomplished.